Welcome to selfdiscoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of For the Love of Music right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my wonderful repeat guest, and I'm delighted to have him back here again, is the wonderful Ellis Hall. He was here a little while ago with a partner that he had in The What, a lovely whole program they're doing with George Whitty. But right now it's just Ellis and Ellis's journey. And there is so much to read here on his journey of what he has done. But, you know, let's just cover a little bit of it. He said when the word got out that the blind kid could play anything, doors opened wide. At 17, Milt Jackson and the Modern Jazz Quartet invited him to tour. Mama said no, but let me sit in when he played at Boston. So he went to school by day, played clubs by night, and jammed with 5,000 at Franklin Park, and soon formed the Ellis Hall Group. No label, just soul. He packed the ventures with Ellisized covers, caught Geils' attention, opened up for the legends like the Cars, Earth, Wind and Fire, Taj Mahal, and the Temptations and the Spinners. And who once had him snub on the bass mid-show? Sub on the bass mid-show. In 1976, opening up for the Tower of Power changed his life. 7 shows later, Emilio Costello asked him to join. While still in Boston, he scored film tracks, including the Sex Ed Film Schools for Shows. Oh, that sounds cool. Played with fellow blind musicians in Profit Insight, collaborating with Tom Scott, Rob Monsey, and the Breaker Brothers. And there's so much more that he has done. But, you know, he's scored so many things. He has scored movies. He has scored, gosh, like so much. Motown. I mean, let's just face it. Let's get into it, because quite honestly, if you have a touch of soul in you anywhere, you need to hear Ellis's music, because I promise you, it will soothe your soul. It will have your body elongating. It will lift your spirit, and it will fill your heart. Welcome back, Ellis.
Well, what do I say about that young lady?
Love it, love it, love it. I always think, you know, interviewing musicians is a guilty pleasure for me, because you are so already in your soul. There is no soul searching. It's just soul sharing. And it's like, as you said, you were born this way, and you were born without sight, but it gave you insight.
Well, actually, I'm going to correct that a little bit.
Okay.
I did have some vision up until 18, enough that I could walk around without a cane and things like that, and guide people around. And I lost it in a freak wrestling accident. I wasn't being freaky, a freak wrestling accident where a gentleman hit my face by accident. So, but I used to practice literally in the dark so I could get to know my instruments, because I do play a smattering, how about that for a word of the day, of instruments.
Smattering, shattering, you've certainly broken some records in your life. And really, you are gifted in the sense that so many people are in discovery of who they are, why they are, and what they're here to do. Yeah. And you were gifted it right from the word go. Like, you know, music is you, not just in you, is you. So it had to come out. And whether Mama said no or not, thank God she said yes to Boston, at least.
Finally, I did convince her, yes. And, you know, it's so funny, sweetie, because as I was growing up, really up until 14, I wanted to be an architect because I didn't think about music. You know, they gave us piano lessons and all that stuff. One funny thing is, I used to play my... But I wanted to play some, and my teacher would come in, Ellis Hall. So I go back to like
Stop playing your desk.
like guilty pleasure. But you know, the thing is again at 14, my brother snuck me into a club, and I was never the same after that. Seeing the faces of the band, wasn't thinking about the audience, but seeing the faces of the band and the looks on their faces as they were driving the audience into a frenzy.
Yeah.
There's no way to describe that, sweetheart. No way.
Euphoric,
No,
right?
it was like, whoa, what
Yeah.
is this? And can I have more of it? So I went home and drove my parents absolutely crazy. Playing all the different instruments, drums and stuff. And I was doing the beatbox way before it was the beatbox. I was
Right,
just,
right.
because I didn't have drums at the time, and then I got some later.
Aha.
But yeah.
You never know what's going to ignite it, right? You know, as you said, you were interested in architecture, and architecture in
Yeah.
itself is an incredible creative force. You've got to
Yes, it
have the vision.
is. Yes,
So
yes,
clearly the vision was always in you. It's just that it
yes.
needed to go to sound rather than to the eye, so to speak.
Yeah.
And, you know, people feel that you can't see music, but you can,
Yeah,
can't you?
well, it's interesting you talk because synesthesia, I don't know if you're familiar with that word. Do you know of that word? Synesthesia?
Not too much, no.
Okay, well, let me tell you what it is. When I play or I sing, I'm seeing things come through in color.
Wow, lovely.
And it's always been that way, but I didn't know what to call it until I
Mm.
found out. And so anytime I'm playing, singing, or whatever, you know, it just, I have a whole movie going on of lights and colors and sounds and all sorts of things. It's and my youngest daughter has that same thing. So I didn't think about it, and she didn't know what that word was either. I said, "Yeah, synesthesia, the serious S word."
Well, what an incredible gift. It's like
Well,
your own disco lights going on,
yeah,
right?
yeah, it really is, and I'm excited to share because I consider myself the vessel. I may have mentioned this on your show before.
Hmm.
I am the vessel, and that's all I am. So I have no choice but to let it come through. Well, I do have a choice, but I think if I miss that ride, I've hurt myself.
The thing about color, you know,
Yes,
kind of being able to see it. I'm very color orientated. Like I've always dressed very vivaciously. Color that people don't realize, it's like the aligning with your chakras. And I don't know if you know this, but if you have a craving for a certain color food,
yep.
that means that that particular chakra needs to be fed,
I didn't know
right?
that.
So I'm wondering if you're like when you're playing certain music and certain colors to you, is that kind of, you know, that you've suddenly become more dominant on one color, that,
I
you know,
do.
needing to have that?
That's a good, and your word vivacious. That's a good word too. Look out, young lady. This is a family show.
Not necessarily.
Oh, yo, okay, yeah, there you go, there you go. But no, as I said here, and even as colors flash before me, I think of the time a friend of mine had, and I believe it was a Vox Continental organ, and the white keys were black, and the black keys were gold.
Wow.
So I'd have my brown fingers going up and down that color scheme and just be dreaming of things as I'm seeing other colors flash in my head. And I still see it to this day.
Does it take shape or is it just purely color?
Usually it's purely color,
Mm-hmm.
usually 9 times out of 10. But as I'm putting a song together and stuff, sometimes it'll take different shapes. You know, if I'm writing about a really wonderful, beautiful woman, I'll see it. And it's 9 times out of 10, it's race free. But sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it comes into the shape of a white lady or a black lady. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It
Yes.
shows all colors exist. And, you know, or even if I'm writing about a friend of mine, you know, and I see him in my mind's eye, that'll come through in his color of what I picture
Mm-hmm.
him to have been or
So
have
kind of
seen.
almost aura reading.
Right. Ah, yeah. There you go.
Yes, you're an aura translator through your music.
Yeah, well, you know, that's what it is because we all are auras. That's what we
Mm-hmm.
are.
We are, most certainly. And we're all rhythm and we're all rhyme and we're all a frequency. We're all a beat. And it's just a question of being able to tap into that beat and tap into that rhythm and rhyme, and we've all got it in us. And it is
See, you're perfect to be an announcer. Look at that. Look at you, Miss Sarah.
But it is about that, isn't it? Life
Yeah,
is
it
about
really,
rhythmic, being in the
yes.
rhythm of life, being in flow.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. And thank you for inviting me on your amazing show again
Oh,
and
it's
anytime.
always a pleasure, always a pleasure. I think that, one of the things that people kind of get stagnant with life and they don't realize that it's just like find a beat, find something that kind of sets the stage for a little rhythm. I don't know if you ever heard the music August Rush. Um, it was a movie, and it was about a young boy who was a prodigy, and he could hear the sounds from the wheat blowing in the fields and the cars
Whoa.
driving over the trucks, and created music from that.
Yeah.
Music is in everything and everywhere, isn't it?
Well, if you think about as they call it, the lowly cattle,
Hmm.
usually 9 times out of 10, their sound will be what's called a C sharp. And that's that note down there. It's like
Hmm. Hmm.
you'd hear it and they'd be mooing in that sound. So
Yeah.
it's amazing to me. you know.
And it's also, so many people have gone and played for horses and cows and things
Yes, they
like this, and they've
have.
just come running across the field to hear
Yes.
it, and then you actually see them move to it,
Yeah. Yeah.
because everything has got rhythm in it.
Yes, it does. Yes. Yes, it does. Well, that's why I call myself the vessel, because
Hmm.
letting it come through,
Yeah,
and if I hold it inside, I could hurt myself, and I ain't got
exactly.
no insurance.
Well, doctor, what's the problem? I didn't let the music out.
Yeah. Well, Doc, let me tell you this. There was that polyrhythmic thing going on, and it kind of led me sideways and straight up and down at the same time. Whoa, that's deep.
Oh dear. Oh yeah. And I do think we can hurt ourselves if we don't let the rhythm out. Being
Yes, we
stagnant and
can.
rigid in life is detrimental to us.
Yes,
And
it
I think
is.
we've all
Yeah.
got to just find something that we can tune into that really speaks to us.
Yeah.
Do you have a particular note or a little phrase of music that brings out a favorite color for you?
Not, that's a good question. Not really. Because if I'm playing in a key like, or if I'm playing like,
Mm.
playing something pretty like that, it doesn't matter. If it feels good,
Hmm.
and if I decide to sing a little melody that I have thought of, it
Mm.
just is there.
When do those melodies come to you? Are you in the middle of the night asleep when something
You
wakes you up, or
know, that's a
you're busy cooking, or you're talking to someone? Do they just jump in and say, "Let me out"?
sometimes like that song we'll be talking about later. Some days are meant for rain.
Hmm.
I'll tell you a quick story. My manager at the time, way back in 1975, he and his lady love had gone through a serious bad patch. So they broke up, and he called me on the phone very distraught. And guys really sometimes don't cry, but this time he was in a state. So I
Hmm.
talked to him about it, and then I hung up the phone, and this melody, like this. Let's see. Some days were meant for rain. I'm caught up in your chains. So I wrote the song literally in 15 minutes.
Mm.
And I put it on cassette. You remember those way
Oh,
back
yes, I
then.
do.
And I gave him
Even 8 tracks.
don't even get me started. I gave it to him on cassette. He cried. He gave it to her. His name was Don. Her name was Terry. And they played it together, cried together, and stayed together 35 years.
Yay!
See?
You're the love guru.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, who knows? All of a sudden, these things come together, and it's
Yes.
like, oh my God. And that's one of the songs when I opened up for Tower of Power, Emilio heard the song, Emilio Castillo. He heard the song and he forgot about it. Now, he heard it on cassette and he didn't have a copy of it, but that was in 76 when I played it for him. 84 when I joined the group, Sarah. One of the first questions he said, "Where's that song, Rain?" That's all he called it. I said, "Rain." And then I said, "Oh, some days are meant for rain." He said, "Yes." We literally, after we got off the road, I think it was Minneapolis or someplace like that. We got off the road, went into the studio. We were putting the record together. That's one of the first songs we put together. And it was like glorious. And then George heard it. Of course, I call him GW. He heard it and it's like, whoa, we got to do that. And so the rest is history. And he made it more symphonic, but that's George's way.
Right. And quite honestly, good music stands the test of time.
Yeah, it does.
I'm a 70s chick as far as being an adult coming into adulthood. And some of the best music was in the 70s. Like, oh my God.
Oh, I'm telling you. And late 60s with all the soul explosion.
Yes.
And did you notice too, sweetie, back then, they didn't have genres put in places. It was all over the place. You could hear anything from Frank Sinatra to lovely Petula Clark.
Yes.
All the way to my God, to Cilla Black.
Cilla Black.
You're right. And then
the Doors
Otis
and the
Redding.
Beatles.
And the Doors and the Beatles. You heard all this conglomeration of music.
I also ran a mobile discotheque. I was living in South Africa at the time, and I was the second mobile discotheque. And we'd go to a party with our turntable, speakers that were like coffins, big, crates of records.
Yeah.
And literally you were the conductor of the night with the music.
Yes, you were.
And it's just watching people kind of let their hair down and just...
Was that in the 70s, lovely?
The 70s. 70s.
I'm surprised
70s.
in the 80s you didn't play, because I was on Kenny G's Duotones, What Does It Take? They played that like crazy. It was a remake of the 69 version of Junior Walker.
Right.
Yeah, so.
No, I know this was all early 70s. I've had many careers since then, lots of them. But I just remember the joys. You talked about the joy from the musicians.
Yes.
It's watching people that might be, because I would play in corporate events, etc. And you're watching people kind of all dressed to the nines and everybody being on their best behavior. And then you just go and play a record where the shoes come off, the hair is down, the ties are loose, and everybody
or if it's the wig, sometimes it falls off.
Yeah, exactly. The toupees are flying.
Oh, man.
And just people are letting their hair down and just being free. Just being free, just so attached to the music and the joy of it. And you see them at the end of the night just frazzled and sweaty and exaltated,
Yeah, everybody. That whole adage of never let them see you sweat, that goes out the window. And one time with the Ellis Hall Group in the 70s, we were playing and hitting it really hard. And somehow this lady was dancing so close to the stage that my bass player picked up his neck of his bass and took the wig with it. And she kept on dancing. That was one of the funniest things.
With the wig on the top of the bass.
I couldn't stop laughing.
No.
It's so funny. But that's what it is. You're in the moment.
You're in the moment. You're in the moment. And that's the beauty of music. It brings you into the moment.
Yeah.
Right? Who cares what hurricane is going on outside? It's the moment. It's that connection to the heart, the soul, and the spirit. It stimulates the mind or eases the mind. It relaxes the body. I mean, after you've had a good dance or you've listened to some music where you've just let the body melt, I mean, it is so healing.
It really is. Well, that's what they call music healing the soul. Amen. That's a feeling. Music means feeling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any particular favorite? Like, if you're feeling stressed out or you're feeling under the weather or whatever, is there any music that you go to that kind of feeds your heart and soul personally?
Well, they call me, through God's grace, the ambassador of soul. But I listen to all types of music ensconced, and that's what I called him Papa Ray. I'm going to talk about Ray Charles. That's what we had in common. We listened to everything from country to blues, to classical if it fits the mood. Something that just kind of makes me slide along like an ever-present river.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It just keeps going and keeps going, and non-discriminatory.
Right.
Let it happen. Not trying to choose it. Sometimes it will choose us.
Yeah.
And if I want to feel funky, I tell everybody in our audience, it comes with a warning label. Don't hold it inside. Don't do it. I'm repeating myself. Don't do it.
Let it out.
Let it out, please. And, but it's so much fun. We recently did a show and everybody was dancing. I said, y'all people get down off the chairs. This is a family show.
No, baby, no, it is about, when you watch children dance.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
And they are just, elongating,
Free
they're
spirit.
stretching, they're flowing, they're in it completely.
Yeah.
And it's like as adults, we become so self-conscious
We do.
about who's watching and am I going to make a fool of myself? And it's like if you actually become one with the music and you're gyrating everywhere, but people can see you're one with the music, maybe they're envious. They're not looking at you as an idiot. They just wish they could do the same.
Exactly. Especially, you see some of these ladies dancing, and some of the guys are like, I don't know if my body's going to do that anymore.
Definitely not anymore. I can guarantee you.
Woo, Lord, shake. I tell ladies, shake it, but don't break it, because it's hard to get spare parts.
Exactly. It's a little twitch to the left, a little twitch to the right these days.
Oh, man. Yeah. And trying to avoid Arthur and his cousin Ruma. I'm talking about Arthur. He's like, get away, get back.
Yes, exactly. This is my time. You can have your time later, because I know you will.
I know you will. Oh, ouch. No. What's that famous? Because Tower used to have, what is it? Tell me if you think you know. Now it's on my hip.
Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. We actually need a senior song, Ellis. We do. We need a senior song. We need a song that embraces all the creaks, the cracks, the groans, the moans, and to celebrate it. Because let us face it, getting older is a celebration, even though, really we feel like, where's the can of oil? But why can't we have some music that represents us?
I gotta tell you, sweetie, the other day, every once in a while I'll watch the news to see what's happening. They had this 100-year-old celebratory lady, and she was just full of joy. And you could see how, through God's grace, she made it to 100. My aunt, and ironically, her name is Aunt True Miller, and she's 100 plus. Excellent. And just as spry as can be, walking around in Georgia and having a good time. That's the thing. The secret of life is just living. Well, I'd say living in the present.
Yes.
Celebrating whatever comes in the future, good or bad. Yeah. What happens to you is what happens to you. It's how you work it out to fit in your scheme of thought.
Yeah.
Or your frame. Yeah. Yes.
We have the only take from the past what serves you in the now.
Yeah.
Seed for tomorrow and water it, but don't just dictate what has to grow. Right. And if all we have is the present. And the one thing about music, it really brings us to the present. Well, but it can represent the past, and it can be the voice of the future, all in the now.
That's our camaraderie with George and I, because he apparently saw me when I was with the crazy group, the Tower of Power. And then in 2012, my buddy Alex said, you got to meet this guy, George. And I said, I think he was at my show. I didn't know for sure, but in 2012, he gave me his number. We didn't end up talking, Lovely, until 2022 when we did that amazing song, Hug Me, for the Ukrainian spirit in us all. And from that, the whole record came together to the auspice of Mr. Dave Ford and everybody else involved. And I don't know if you heard the whole record, my lovely, but one of the tunes called Why Should I Care became Nelson, and he told me this, Nelson Mandela is one of his favorite tunes. And I said to myself,
Why
Go ahead.
should we care? We should
Why should we?
care.
Yeah, of course.
Of
And
course
that's a
we should
whole,
care. I mean,
that's it.
that's the foundation of being human. Care, for
That
God
is
damn it,
all.
care.
Amen. That C word
Yeah,
carry you a long way.
it
But you'll see
can.
if you haven't heard it, you will. You'll listen to it.
Oh, yes, I have heard it,
Oh, okay,
definitely.
good, good,
But
good.
in the show that we did with George, I mean, he most certainly is a huge fan of yours. But
Ah,
you
my,
also, for you guys to actually get together and do what you're doing now,
yeah, yeah.
he needed to know you to actually kind of get to a point where he could work with you because he had to have his own journey first,
Oh, yeah, but that's
right?
what it was.
Hmm.
We all did what we did, and I've traveled and worked on so many projects, meaning movies and television and things like
Yes,
that, as
yes.
he
Name
has,
some of the movies. Name some of the movies you've
Okay.
been in.
Catch Me If You Can. I was in
Hmm.
that with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks. Great movie. I was
Absolutely.
also in Big Mama's House with Mr. Crazy Martin Lawrence. God bless him, love him so. And then also the movie Chicken Run, when the chickens are
Hmm.
dancing, I'm singing.
Great.
Yeah, and also, my God, one television show, The Wonder Years. I
Hmm.
was in that.
Yeah.
My God, there's just
There's so
ooh,
many of them.
so many through God's grace. I'm honored to take this journey. There's a movie I had a song in. It's called "What Is Real," and it's about the Philadelphia Eagles. I forgot the artist who starred in that, but it was a huge movie. I think the movie was called Invincible,
Hmm.
and so
Hmm.
I was in that. And then, oh my God, recently a movie came out called Revival, and I had the title track, and it was called "Once Upon an Evening Star." And
Hmm.
sometimes I dream songs, and that's one of
Oh,
my dreams, and it came out.
I
So,
love it when that happens. But
I
also
love
just
it.
you've
Yeah.
done for the Muppets
Ay,
and
oh my God.
briefing
And
for Luther
California Raisins.
Vandross, performing
Yeah,
from Clinton inaugural ball.
that's
All
right.
right. So yeah, I mean
I've been busy,
you've been busy. Absolutely. But
but just,
the
mhm, yeah,
again, when people try to typecast people into one genre,
yeah,
instead of like, where's the bass line of the music? Because when you
yeah.
have the bass line of the music, you could build it into anything in any direction,
Well, that's
right?
why soul is expansive,
Yes.
exactly the way the soul is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I've rock and rolled you to where I was Ellis Van Halen playing guitars and doing what I do. Oh yeah.
Now there's oh gosh,
Yeah.
a young musician I interviewed a few years ago,
Mm.
and people make him guitars out of funny instruments like spades,
Yeah.
oil cans, so this or that.
Yeah.
Justin, I've gone blank on his surname. I'm
No
trying to have
worries.
him back on again, but he's busy doing another album, and he's Americana blues,
Oh,
right? And
okay.
anything that he plays has got that blues to it, which what I call the elongation
Whoa.
sound, like it
Yeah.
digs
Yeah.
deep. And
Yeah.
there are some people that are born for a particular genre because they do it so well. That's what they're tuned into.
Well, look at
But
this
that's
blues
not been
artist,
you.
Kingfish.
Hmm?
Look at Kingfish. I don't know
Hmm.
if you're familiar. Ooh, check him out. And BB King, I've met him a
Yes.
few times. I miss him.
Hmm.
All these different blues guys. And I've done blues and I didn't have to take my teeth out. Sorry.
Love it.
Sorry. Can't take me nowhere.
Love it. I love blues and I love bluesy
Me
jazz.
too.
And I
Me too.
love something that, where you can feel it moves in your gut.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, your entire gut, your heart and your soul and your body, it just like, ooh, it's nectar.
Yeah.
It's like a good feast and you
Yeah.
feel so satisfied afterwards. Um, is there any kind of music that hasn't been something that you favored?
You know, I listen to all types and even rap. I like melodies.
Hmm.
So sometimes rap will leave me a little cold. Punk, I've listened to it and some of it I've been into, but a lot of times a lot of thrashing.
Yes.
So I'm not a thrasher. I can represent or hear what they do and what they intend to do,
Hmm.
but that's why you leave your mind open to whatever.
Hmm.
But like I said, all music, if you feel it inside, or if you can tell that the artist is feeling it, you can't deny it, no matter if you like it or you don't like it.
Right.
It's like some classical music leaves me kind of cold, but I listen to it. I'll see, okay, this. And then usually what will happen, I'll do a Sly Stone, and I'll explain that in a minute. But I listen to it. But why I mentioned Sly is because when he used to be a DJ, if he didn't like a record, he'd let it play for about 20 seconds or 30 seconds and take it off and throw it across the room. But having absorbed the tune, he'd play the tune better than the record was. So, but that's the thing. Let it, okay, I heard that. Now, here, this is what I'm going to do with it. You know, and that's the excitement of it to me.
A different form of musician.
Right.
You know, you mentioned earlier things people like Petula Clark and Cilla Black, and you know, the British performers of the 60s, and you know, Petula Clark were Downtown. I mean, it was one of the big numbers that resonated with everybody. And Cilla Black, you know, had such she didn't make it in America. She came over to America.
She came over, but it didn't.
No,
it didn't take
and
on.
she was so utterly popular over there, but it just, you know, I think people were more into the British scene later, but I think it was too early for her. But you know, I was brought up in England, so I was brought up with their music, and there were so many of them that, you know, we had Top of the Pops, and they were.
Oh wait, you must have known about Max Monroe, I think his name was.
Yeah,
I loved his voice.
Yes, you know, one of my favorites, oh my goodness, Andy Williams. I mean, when I was a teenager, I loved Andy Williams' voice. Yeah.
And Matt had the voice like that. She cooks like an angel cooks. I mean, what a great song that was. And it had the vibe of Andy.
Yeah.
Really.
And you know, there's some people that are, you know, obviously Nat King Cole and you know, and even, you know, Sinatra and all and Dean Martin.
They admired each other so much. Bing Crosby, Nat, and you know, and Frank, you know, and I think they did a record together too. But really, when you hear those folks singing together, you know, you didn't compare. Nobody's better than anyone, but they all had their vibe.
Right.
And that's the way I like to look at it.
And of course, I was brought up with Blood, Sweat and Tears,
and
Earth, Wind and Fire, and the Temptations. But another group I absolutely loved was Bread. And the song God Bless the Child.
Dave Gates.
Yeah. And that God Bless the Child song.
That was Blood, Sweat.
Yes.
My God.
Oh my God, it was just so unbelievable. I've introduced it to my 3-year-old grandson, and he kind of looks and the little hips go up and down, you know, and it's because you just can't help it. But it just, that song is so amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's that whole thing. God bless a child. And when you think back to the person, I believe she wrote it. Now it's Billie Holiday.
Oh God, what a star she was.
Oh my God.
Yes.
You don't think about it. It was like the star who didn't really do movies that I know of, but Nina Simone. I love the way she played and sang.
Yeah.
And
well, she didn't sing, she sang. She was a singer.
S-A-A-A-N-G, sang. She man, and put her whole heart and soul. And she was on this thing in 1969. And Sly and the Family Stone were too. And that's the thing that Questlove brought out. She was killing it. I believe that's where I saw her. Woo.
Yeah, and oh gosh, who is the artist that played Billie Holiday in the movie?
Diana.
No. No, a more recent one. Oh gosh, I'm terrible with names. I can see it right there. It'll come to me in a moment.
You're too young for that.
But my God, she played it so raw and so brilliantly. And she's an brilliant singer.
The movie just came in. I forgot her name. Yes. I heard she was killing it.
Killed it. Absolutely. It was just amazing. But it's also, when you look at all of their stories, all of them of that era, especially women, and the abuse that they went through, you know, emotional, physical, spiritual, everything. I mean, God, the fact that we got any music out of them, Aretha Franklin, all of them. I mean, it's just...
I mentioned recently to someone about a woman, Rosetta Thorpe, and my gosh, and she played guitar like it was tattooed to her fingers when she was born. When you hear folks like that, it's like Aretha. I
Yeah.
saw her play piano, and of course I knew she could sing, but she killed me. It's like, again, Nina, killer pianist. And folks don't know Miss Sarah Vaughan was an amazing pianist.
Yeah.
You know, this whole thing, let it come out, let it be. Stop trying to compare. If you want it, that's your thing. But man, let that movie and let that music wash all over you.
And it is never too late. I
No.
mean, as long as you've still got the voice,
Yeah.
who cares? Again, I'm having a blank day with
With names.
names.
Yeah, I told
But
you you're too young for all that.
I
Stop it.
know Lady
Stop it.
Gaga with
Oh yeah.
oh God,
To-
who
uh,
did she perform with recently? That
Tony Bennett,
Tony
right?
Bennett. Thank you.
Yes,
I mean, the two
yes,
of them together.
yes,
She
yes.
was completely off any of those genres, but the two of them together is just absolutely gorgeous. And I don't know how old he was at that stage,
I
but
believe 90 plus,
right,
but
exactly.
still standing and still
Absolutely.
doing what he does. And like he said, doing it until he drops, until it's
Exactly.
time to go,
Yeah.
And
There is no retirement from music, is there?
well, no, I can only speak for myself, young lady, and there's no retirement for me. I tell folks retiring is for Goodyear and Michelin. So that being said,
Cool.
no, that ain't gonna happen. Two chances, slim and none, and slim left freaking town.
When you find something that's so meaningful to you, that feeds
Yes,
your heart and your soul and your spirit, you
yeah,
don't stop.
no,
I
no, you don't.
discovered this podcasting at 57. I'm 70 now. And
God
I
bless.
finally found something that really spoke to me,
Well, it
that
fits
really
you.
enlightened the heart and the soul. And, I kind of made a contract with God. I'll go until I'm 90 and then reassess.
And then keep on doing. And do you drive your significant other or your husband
No,
crazy?
I'm on my own. I'm
Are
on
you?
my own.
All right.
So I'm at
Well,
liberty not, I can drive anyone crazy if I'm on my own. Which is nice.
well, you ladies run the world, so you do what you do,
Yeah,
honey.
the
And
loves in my life are
yeah,
two grand boys with another grand boy on the way. So they're
ah,
my little angels, and I introduce them to music, different kind of music. And my little one, he's 2,
yeah.
and he has Down syndrome, and
Oh,
he's
God
not
bless him.
interested into. He's a beautiful soul,
Yeah,
but you play funky music,
yeah,
you play anything with a beat
yeah.
and a rhythm. This little boy is dancing up a storm.
There you
You give him
go.
some drums to play, he's hitting them and making
Yeah.
as much noise as he can.
Or pots and pans, of course.
Oh, no, just, yeah, anything he can
Anything.
make a rhythm out of, and that
Yeah.
body is going. Play soft music, sweet children's music. Nah, give him a beat. Give
Yeah,
him a
give him a
beat.
beat. Yeah, and when he comes over to visit grandma, fill him full of sugar and send him back to the parents.
No, believe me, I will. The reprimand I would get from my daughter would be more than it's worth. But they get a
Really?
different form of spoiling, and Nana does too. I get all the
Yeah,
hugs and the kisses that
of
water my
course.
soul, right?
Ah,
But we immediately, Alexa, play the music, and off
yeah,
we go.
of
And
course.
they're both into it, and introducing them to different type of music is so
There
much
you.
fun.
That's what you're supposed to do, and
Hmm.
I'm so honored again to share this amazing journey. And I always feel we're just getting started, so hold on tight. It's gonna be. Sometimes it's a bumpy ride, but generally it's a ride to make you bump around on your own.
Yeah, all those bumps are just kind of shaking you out of maybe getting too complacent or too
There you
comfortable.
go. Yeah,
Sometimes we learn something in those bumpy roads that,
yeah,
open up different doors, windows, arenas. And it's don't be afraid of a rocky ride. Don't get stuck in the rocky ride,
yeah.
but don't
Well,
be afraid of it because it shook something up.
well, I thank you, my sweet, and I'm off pretty soon to my next journey. But you, I pray when we come to town, if you don't come, I'm going to chase you down and sit on your doorstep. And you have to come to our shows
Yeah.
either with Brother George or on my own. And we're going to have a PHUNQUIE, funky, good time.
Funky, funky, funky. That's
Yeah.
where it's at. Um, so where do people come to listen to your music, hun? And
Well, you can simply go, I'll give you a couple of things. If you go to Ellis Hall Music, you'll find all roads from ellishall.com, etc. And then all on the other side with Brother George, you go to WHITTYHALL.com. That'll lead all the places for the group What. And we're going to get ready to do some dates with both my solo stuff and with the group stuff as well. So keep posted and wave at us on the different Instagram sites. And my word for joyous from that, CHAKALAKA, chakalaka, with extra sauce. That's my word for joyous. Come on.
So it's Ellis Hall, ELLISHALL.com,
Ellis Hall Music.
WhittyHall.com, Instagram, Whitty Hall Artist Team, and Facebook, What? And of course your new number, well, not so new, but revived. Some days were meant for rain. We're going to close the show out with that, but they can also find it on your YouTube.
Yes, they can.
Where they can listen to the music there. But yes, please, folks, get out and support.
Please.
Get out and listen, because I guarantee, you're listening to all the modern music, I'll find very light. But if you are a true person of music, listen to the greats. Listen to those that have come forward, because those are the people that have set the foundation. You've set the foundation, you've given the beats and the notes, and they can take those notes and springboard from there, but know the foundation.
See, there you go. Know the foundation. Amen.
It's been delightful having you here, Ellis. I'd love to have you back again anytime. You're a beautiful soul.
You just give a call. Brother Alec will line it up, and then we'll make sure I look in the right direction. God bless you,
well,
sweetheart.
You're looking good. In case you didn't know, you're looking mighty fine there. Mighty fine.
They tell me I keep in good shape.
Representing the 70s well.
Come on, sweetheart. I feel like I'm just getting started.
Exactly.
Like I said, I can't repeat it enough, because I do. I feel buoyant. How about that for the word of the day? I really do. And I dance around, and people I used to stand on chairs. I don't do too much anymore. But they take bets. Is he going to fall? I ain't going to fall. And I just run up and down the keyboard like I know what I'm doing. Amen.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Well, you do know what you're doing.
Come on.
And the keyboard is an extension of your soul, which is beautiful.
Guitars, basses, drums, whatever it takes. And Brother Logan, who assists me, he's a brilliant drummer. Sometimes we get to play together and act like we have no couth. Goes out the window.
Okay, what do you like? Do you like just, creating a new song and it's wonderful, but do you enjoy the moments where you just each go to an instrument and just play?
That's exactly what we do. Just jam.
That's the best.
And sometimes it may come out in a new song. That's the same thing with George and I. All of a sudden, we'll start playing these things. George came to a show of mine, a lovely club out here called Vibrato. Grill and Jazz, you can look it up. It's Herb Alpert's club. And I go over there not too often, but every once in a while, people come and see me. And George came and sat in, and we held court. And our mantra is to act a FOO apostrophe, take the L away. A foo.
Well, you know what? When the music's in you, as you said, it has to come out. You can't hold it in. You'll combust if you do.
You will.
Keep letting the music coming out of you, darling, because we love it. I love the fact that this is a song that you wrote back in the 70s, and it's just as relevant to today. And so it just shows music is timeless. Musicians are timeless. And that there's music in every one of us if we only just let it out.
Amen. Are you in London, by the way?
No, I'm actually in British Columbia, Canada. On Vancouver Island.
Okay. I was just up there with a charity called what do they call themselves? It's an amazing. It's called Bank. That's Benevolent Artists National Charities.
Nice.
Look it up. And I'm there with a gentleman. His name is Mark Clark, who's with a group called Coliseum. There with Bernard Fowler, brilliant, with the Rolling Stones. We all do stuff where we raise lots of money for charity.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so, British Columbia, I love it up there.
It's beautiful here. It's gorgeous. It's lovely. And it's got a great vibe of all of its own. So, yeah.
And I put my shoes on. I keep my shoes on because there's too many pine needles.
Depends where you're walking.
Yeah, well, squat's
The
where you're
forest,
walking.
yes.
The forest. God bless you, lovely. What a joy
Bless
this
you
is.
too, my darling. And thank you so, so much. It's always warms my heart to have you on. And thank you so, so much.
Blessings.
And to everyone else there, please tune into Ellis's music. Go back through the history and listen to it. I promise you, it will warm your heart. It will lift your soul. It will feed your spirit, and it will calm your mind and body, but it will also get your feet dancing. So until next time, folks, bye for now.
Raindrops on my window, completing my day of dread. Tears streaming softly from raw eyes. These words running through my head like some days were meant for rain. Some nights were meant for pain. And now I'm caught up in your chain. Sitting alone in my tear-filled room, feeling deep the words she said. My love for you was just a game in time. Cold words are crashing through my head. Yes, they were. Some nights were meant for I know they were. And I'm caught up in your chain. Can I sing my song? Some days here's still loving you, baby. But your love is driving me crazy. Here's something else I gotta say. Baby love, I need you, baby love. Baby love, I'm calling, baby love. I'm caught up in your chain. Hear me calling.
We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tab at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.